I haven't talked to anybody in your career field. Most of the stuff I
Hmm.
do is like tech,
Yeah.
which is cool or whatever. But I like to switch it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
I can only be the GOAT. I can only be the best.
how you feeling today? Cause
I'm feeling good. How are you?
excited to finally be able to sit down
Finally.
with you. I know we had
Yeah.
talked about different times and stuff, so
Hmm.
happy that we're able to schedule something.
Yeah. Me too.
So let's go ahead and get started. What do you
All
do
right.
professionally?
I am a principal clinical research associate. So I basically manage or yeah, manage and monitor the research studies that are going on across the country. So anything from ophthalmology studies to vaccine studies, schizophrenia studies, all of the above.
Yeah. Okay. What motivated you to get into that, and then how did you get started?
So basically, I didn't know what the heck I was stepping into when I started. I saw a job. So I have my bachelor's in biology, and I saw a job working in a research facility, and I did undergrad research. So
Okay.
um, I did undergrad research for. I helped develop a optical glucose biosensor, so which is now patented. So it's actually
Hold on a
how
second. What is that? Say that word again.
an optical glucose biosensor.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we were trying to develop in like 2010 ish was like a watch that diabetics could wear that will monitor their glucose. So they wouldn't have to prick themselves anymore. So that's what we worked on in
Okay.
2010. And now it's like a huge thing, like everyone's using it. But so I got into clinical research just because I thought it was just a research job.
Yeah.
And I found out that it was clinical research and not just like benchmark research where you're collecting samples and running tests and all that stuff. It was actual clinical research. So I got in there as a research assistant. And then I kind of worked my way up to a research coordinator. And then I got into what I'm doing now.
Gotcha. Okay. So it sounds like you went through the steps, and it's like a natural
Yeah,
progression
exactly.
of your career. So it's
Yeah.
cool. What do you
Yeah.
like best about what you do?
I like seeing real world with real time results. I was doing some glaucoma studies a couple of years back, and these people were having issues seeing, and so then they tried the trial medication, and then a month later they're coming in and they're like, "Oh, my vision has improved." So just seeing those type of results, and the patients being really happy because they feel like sometimes that there are no options for them. So when they are entering these clinical trials, they can either get the placebo. It depends on the type of study it is. So they can either get the placebo or they can get the actual medication. And just seeing patients actually progress from
Yeah.
taking those drugs is that's what I like best about it.
Yeah. I can see how that would be rewarding, like seeing the work that you do actually help someone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then seeing the drugs that you're working on being marketed
Yeah.
years later, like I actually worked on that study. That's cool. Like I've
Yeah.
seen the results, the adverse events and all that comes with it. I've actually seen it firsthand. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest challenge that you face? And part two of that is how did you overcome it? Or what do you do to overcome it?
Um, so I think the biggest thing for me is the morality of it. So I've struggled with it for years. I'm just like, you remember the Tuskegee experiment. You're like, Black
Yeah.
people, we're told to stay away from research, period. Like, don't do it. So I struggled with that a lot in the beginning and seeing, I know I mentioned schizophrenia studies, but seeing those patients there's another side, there's a dark side of it. So you see patients that don't get help. They don't, their symptoms don't go away or they don't, you know, have a good reaction to the study medication. And I think that's the biggest hurdle. It's just not feeling like like I said, the Tuskegee experiment, and people are already have this what's the word I'm looking for? They're already going into it thinking that it's a negative thing if they're just working on people as lab rats.
Mhm.
So just getting that out of my mind that it was actually not like that. There are rules and regulations that have been put in place because of the Tuskegee experiment. And
Yeah,
I think how I got past that is realizing that there's there in every situation, in every negative situation, there's got to be a positive. There's got to be someone that's working for the greater good, and that actually has good intentions with what they're doing. And I feel like my role as a monitor, I'm able to make sure that the doctors that are recruiting these subjects are recruiting subjects that are eligible for the study
yeah,
and not just recruiting just to get the money. I'm making sure that they are
yeah.
not getting these people to do these studies without properly giving them informed consent. So, it's just always got to be a good person in there to make sure that, things are being done correctly. So I think that's how I got past that.
But I'm glad you shared that because I think that a lot of times what you see when you're not in something is a lot different. So with you
Mm-hmm.
being in that, you knowing exactly how it is, like you had that
Yeah.
experience. So
Right,
yeah,
right. And I'm able to help, because if we don't have a lot of Black people enrolling in these studies, then we're affected by things differently just because of our genetic makeup. We're affected by things differently. And the medications that we take, we might have a different reaction to it. So if Black people do not enroll in these studies, then they don't have the proper data to say, hey, these people can take this medication because, like hypertension, if they don't have enough Black people doing these hypertensive studies, then they're not going to be able to make sure that they're doing the right formulation of the medication. So, it's just it's just being able to educate the community as well.
yeah,
That's important.
yeah. That's really cool, man. That makes me
Yeah.
smile on the inside.
Yeah, it's cool. I enjoy it. I
Yeah.
mean, at first I was like, oh, Lord, am I going to hell? But because I just thought like this is horrible. Like I can't believe that, I want people to join these studies, but it's like the greater good. Like it all works together. Like so.
Yeah, yeah. What can someone starting off expect to make like salary wise? And then
Um,
what are the career earning potentials? So starting off,
so
yeah, what can they earn?
So starting off, like when I was a research assistant, I started off, whew, Lord, that was 10 years ago. I
Okay.
started out, I think I was making like 35,000 as a research assistant, but
Okay.
the earning potential skyrockets from there. So I was research assistant for a year, and then I was the clinical research coordinator. And when I became a coordinator, I started making 40,000. So, and then I was a research manager, and that was around 42, 45. It's not much of a difference. But when I got into clinical research associate position, entry level, I think like 65 to 70, and then the earning potential for a clinical research associate is like about 175. That's the cap probably. And then if you go into like clinical trial management, you can make about 220-ish a
Oh
year.
wow.
So it just depends on what it is that you really want to do.
Yeah. How long does it take someone to get to that part or that phase to
To
where?
the 220,
Yeah.
I would say a good 5 years, but then
Oh
you
wow.
have to kind of know somebody to get into that clinical trial management because they want you to come in with clinical trial management experience. But as a CRA, you're kind of pigeonholed to like clinical research associate positions
Yeah.
because, it's a lot of travel involved. And I think that's why you're able to make so much more as a CRA than you are as a coordinator.
Yeah. What advice would you offer someone who's listening to you like, oh, that sounds cool. I'm interested in doing that. Like,
Hmm.
what tips would you give them?
I would say network, network, network. Because again, if you don't know, like my first position, I got because the doctor knew grandma.
Okay.
That's how, yeah. So they had advertised it. And I was just telling grandma about it. I'm like, hey, grandma, it's a place that's your job, blah, blah, blah. And that's how I got in there. But network, network, network. So you kind of have to know somebody that's at the company that you're wanting to go to, and
Yeah.
that help you get your foot in the door. And also just reading up on the rules and regulations. So if you get into an interview, you just got to know those key terms, the
Mhm.
keywords, and
Yeah.
that usually can help you get your foot in the door too. So just know what you're research the position, research the ICH, regulations, and get just become knowledgeable there. And then, when you have your interview, you'll be able to hit those keywords, and it'll help you.
What upcoming trends do you see in your career field?
Since COVID, a lot of things have gone remote. And they're able, so before I used to have to travel for every visit to look at all of the documents and compare it to the data that they're putting in the database. And so now they're moving towards making everything be input into the database without having to have a paper source. So I think just making things more electronic and more remote.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Is there any last tips that you have or any other insights that we didn't talk about that you want to share?
Procrastination. It will hold you back in everything that you do if you procrastinate. And honestly, I'm going to share one thing with you. This is a golden nugget.
Okay.
But so in my career, you have these reports that you have to write after each visit.
Okay.
And they are daunting because you have to have all the details. Like if you're not writing the report while you're doing the visit, you're gonna forget, or whatever. And then you have your expense reports and all that good stuff. So one day while I was at the airport from coming from a visit, I stumbled upon this book right here. I don't know how to mirror this,
I got you.
but you got me. Okay. But Eat That Frog, this book was life changing for me. And it's about like ways to stop procrastinating. And basically, it's the frog is the biggest chunk of work that you have, right? And the book basically tells you about finishing up the biggest thing that you have to do first,
Yeah.
and prioritizing everything else afterwards. And so this book, like for real, was the bomb. Like,
Yeah.
so my biggest advice for people is to get this book, one, and just stop procrastinating. And that's like in everything that you do. And I think that's how I was able to um, move up so quickly in my career, because I'm able to get things done immediately. Like my response time is really low. I get
Yeah.
my reports done within, they give us 5 business days to get your initial report in. I get my report done in 48 hours, because I'm like, we got it. Because procrastination always gives me anxiety. Like I'm always like thinking, that it's just the biggest, like I have to do this. It's giving me so much anxiety. But eating that frog immediately and getting it done removes all of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it is.
That's super major. I think we all can
Yeah.
learn from that. Like, just get it done. Don't.
Just get it done. Just get it done. Just get it done and you can breathe.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing your career with the
You're
channel
welcome.
community. For sure. There was
You're
one last
welcome.
question. You already know the other part
I
of
already
it.
know. I'm wait. I was like, I kind of been thinking about it in my head, like, I wonder what he's gonna
Is
ask,
it?
but I kind of
This is
kind
the
of feel
part you've
like I
been
know.
waiting for.
This is the part
So,
I've been waiting for.
all right. So I'm gonna just it's two questions that I've been thinking about doing for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask
Ask both.
You want to do both of them?
We can do both.
All right, bet. So the first question is, we watched all Power from the original one to Force,
Well, not
and
me.
everything in between.
Remember?
I got you. I got you.
Okay.
I got you. And we're gonna include like BMF with that too. Let's rank the theme song.
So first to me is Raising Kanan.
I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler, baby.
Like that's a bop. That's a bop.
Okay.
And then Power.
They say this is a big rich town.
Okay.
Power is a bop.
Slap.
Except for when it had Trey Songz. I was like, nah, y'all gotta quit playing. And then I guess Force and then BMF.
Power, respect.
Force, BMF last.
Yeah, BMF last.
Charlie, you messing with Charlie on that one?
I mean, it's okay, but I think my favorite is Raising Kanan for sure.
Got you. I'm gonna put the other one on here. Hold on. I think my order. So my order is Force first. I love the Force theme. I don't know why, but that's my
yeah.
Kanan second. Kanan could be first. Okay. Like I feel.
Kanan, I mean, yeah.
It could be. Yeah. First. The original Power one. It's good. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good, but I don't know. I'm gonna say that's third, and I agree. Like last for sure is. I'm not feeling him on there screaming and stuff. Like that ain't.
Yeah.
That's not.
It's a bit much.
Any second now.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Pick a house.
Pick a house. Pick a house. Pick a house.
Okay. Corey. Why did you do this to me? Okay. I would have to say House 3.
House 3?
House 3.
Ooh.
No. Okay, it's between House 2 and House 3.
Okay.
Like if I could swap out Maxwell for Joe.
So wait.
But House.
Wait, are you saying if you made that swap, then which one would you go with?
House 2 for sure.
So it's the Joe in House 3.
It's the Joe.
It's the Joe.
It's the Joe and the Donnell Jones in House 3.
Yeah.
But what about you?
This wasn't challenging to me. I'm not gonna even lie.
No?
It's House 2 for me.
House 2, okay.
And then, because with House 1, the only thing that I'm like kind of tripping about a little bit is that Mary album.
Yes, absolutely. Yep, I was thinking the same thing. Like, okay, Mary, that album was dope.
Yeah, but House 2, it's House 2.
It's House 2 for you.
Yeah, because I want to be disrespectful, but.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Wait.
That Aaliyah album, you're gonna have to.
Yeah. And like I like Aaliyah, so
I don't know why they would put her on here though. Like,
right? Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could see her going into House 1. I mean, but with Joe, Usher, and Donnell, I mean, I'm not to leave out Janet, but like that Donnell Jones album was fire.
Yeah.
And Joe is a classic, period. So I don't know why they would put One in a Million, but I love her, but
No, I don't dress no rumors. No, I don't talk no gossip.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed talking about it. So
this was golden. I'm going to edit it up because your contribution is important.